Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Let me introduce myself. I'm Umkar Shinde, your host for this particular interview. I want to welcome you all to the 13th episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. Talking about interview series, it is a series where you invite people who have interned at companies and converted that internship opportunity into a pre-placement offer. Our guest for today's interview is Aswin Nagarajan. He interned with PayPal for 6 months and also got a pre-placement offer from them. So the whole interview is all going to be about Ashwin's journey as a student to doing a lot of internships, being part of technical clubs in college, uh, publishing research papers, to getting that internship opportunity to work for PayPal, and finally getting placed as a full-time machine learning engineer for them. So the whole interview is going to be interesting. It is going to be inspiring. So make sure to stick around, listen and learn from Ashwin's journey. And I hope that this specific interview would help you in your specific career as well. So without wasting further time, let's just proceed towards the interview. Hello Ashwin and welcome to the 13th episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Thank you. Hi, guys. So I'm looking to share my experience, some of my experience that might be useful for the future aspirants. So looking forward to it. Let's go.
That's great. And I'm also very much excited, Ashwin, to know about you, to know about your experiences and also like your PayPal story. So like in the whole, I'm also very much excited to talk to you and it's going to be an amazing interview. So yeah, so let's just dive into the interview and start. Okay, so the first question I want to ask you is, tell me something about yourself, what you do.
Sure. So from a career standpoint, I was always interested in computer science and physics equally during my high school and all. So at the point where I had to choose a major for my UG, so I had to go with computer science for various reasons, like the kind of placements that we get and all. So other than that, I'm equally interested in both physics and computer science. So right now my career is completely computer science, so that's where it's taking me. And other than that, from my personal side, I'm also into sports and movies, sports like cricket, football, and that's it.
Yeah, so I hope that the audience knows about what you do. So the next question I want to ask you is, can you describe your college life? How was your college
sure.
life?
So my college life, when I look back in the retrospective right now, it looks complete to me. So I think I did a lot of enjoyment and had a good balance of both education and enjoyment. So there was like a good involvement from my side in all projects and as well as all the fun activities, and also I don't regret anything.
Yeah, that's great. So like you enjoyed your 4 years of college life, okay? So and you are pursuing BTech in computer science. So I want to ask you, like, can you describe your love for computer science? Why do you love it so much?
Yeah, sure. So the main motivation behind pursuing computer science for me was when I started coding back in 6th standard in the form of a simple programming language like GW Basic or C. So the kind of instructions that we give to the computer and the kind of output that it displays on the screen, there is a small sense of satisfaction that we get when we do that. When we type something and we see the result on the screen. So that small satisfaction was the main driving factor behind pursuing computer science. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And so now that I know like about your college life, about computer science, now I want to ask you, like, did you build any technical projects in your engineering career?
Yeah, there were a few. So basically, there was one mini project that was a part of the college curriculum itself. So before that, I had a chance to build a autonomous bot based on visual recognition. So it was like analyzing the camera feed frame by frame using libraries like OpenCV, and then using pathfinding algorithms to guide the bot to the correct destination. So that was like one project. And other than that, as a development of it, we also tried the video summarization technique as a mini project for the curriculum. So it was like, let's say there are 30 CCTV cameras around us, and we can't expect a human to go through like 30 hours of 30 CCTV cameras continuously and find out who was the thief and all, right? So in that case, there we can probably leverage deep learning to analyze it frame by frame and then highlight only the frames that have a moving object or some important objects in the frame that showed some kind of movement, something. So in that case, it reduces the task, right? So that is one thing. Other than that, I was also part of other technical clubs, and I also got the opportunity to lead one club in my final year. So it was like an app development club for all the tech fests and the cultural fests that happen in our college. So it was like mostly full stack, developing a UI and connecting it to a backend, simple full stack development. Yeah.
So that's very much interesting. So you were involved in a lot of activities in college. Also, you built 3 projects, okay, and those were very much innovative kind of projects, like using deep learning and like OpenCV and stuff like that. So that's great. And the next question I want to ask you is, like, you told me about your projects, your love for computer science. So the next question I want to ask you is, which is your favorite programming language? And if you will tell me that programming language, I want to ask you, why do you love it?
Sure. So there is no clear-cut winner according to me, but I would like probably go with one among Python, Java, or JavaScript right now. But I think Python has a little edge over those two because of the developer community that it has and the kind of extensive libraries that it covers in all the areas of development. I would say, like right from machine learning to full stack development, there is at least one library for everything. But we cannot say the same for Java or JavaScript, right? Because the libraries like TensorFlow or PyTorch, they don't have one compatible version with Java or JavaScript. I think the Java is compatible with TensorFlow, but to the best of my knowledge, it's not that stable, I would say. So that is one reason I would go with Python.
That's great. Okay, so I was going through your profile and I saw that you have done a lot of online courses. Okay, so this question is regarding to that. So I want to ask you, does certificates from online courses have any value in the job market? What do you feel?
Great question. I had the same question when I was also sitting for placement. So what I would say is the paper as it is or the certificate as it is does not have any value. But the way we explain what we did in the course and what we learned in the course, what we exactly did to get that certificate means a lot to recruiters. Like when we sit in an interview, we need to explain, like for example, some courses in Udacity requires us to do a capstone project. So that is like a very demanding thing. As far as I've heard from my friends, I've not done it, but it's like a very demanding thing that even takes 2-3 months to complete sometimes. So in that cases, I think it's more or less equal to a mini project on its own. So when we sit for interviews, we can definitely say that Udacity Nano Degree capstone project I did, and we can probably explain it. And if it's one of the suitable skills for the interviewer, he will definitely give you an edge over others. So I think the certificate as it is does not have any value, I would say. But the way we explain what we did and what we learned definitely has a value.
Yeah, the implementation part, like how we did it, what all things did we use, like, so all those information matters and not the certificate. The certificate just like the completion, like after some completion you get the certificate, but what actually things you have implemented, that is what the recruiter is interested in knowing. So
Exactly.
That is what you mean. Yeah, that's great. And thanks for that explanation. It could help the audience out. So the next question I want to ask you is another thing. I noticed this thing from your profile as well. So you have 3 paper publications which you have done. So I want you to describe those paper publications of yours so that the audience could know about like how, like the 3 papers, like what were they about, and like how did they help?
Right, sure. So actually out of those 3, I think the third one is not yet published. I don't know, but I am yet to connect with the other authors. It was a co-authored paper, so I'm not sure about that, but the other 2 are published right now. So the CNN hyperparameter tuning, I think, with BFFO optimization was one of those papers.
We have CNN with BFFO optimization and frequent subgraph mining with MapReduce.
Right. Yeah. So the CNN hyperparameter tuning basically. So there are like a lot of optimization techniques that we might know if we are interested in the deep learning domain. A lot of people might know like there are a lot of optimizers like Adam, stochastic gradient descent, and all those things. So BFFO is binary fruit fly optimization, one of those optimization techniques. It's like kind of an inspired technique from the way the flies transfer their characteristics towards the next generation. So it's like we take one set of hyperparameters and then based on the successful traits or the genes from that particular generation, we consider them as the parents for the next generation and create the next generation and so on. So we just keep on improving the going generation by generation and then take the best set of hyperparameters that give us the best result on one particular data set. So that's the thing about that paper. So other than that, it was also a co-authored paper. There were around 6 to 7 authors, I guess. So it was an opportunity that was given by the dean of our college. So I would really thank him for that. So as a development for that, we did one more project like on a data set called SCADA. So it is also a similar thing, but it is just like not only hyperparameter tuning, but also the dense layer optimizations and other things that we do normally in a convolution neural network. So that also gave us state-of-the-art results on that data set as well. So those are two papers that got published, I guess. Then the third one, frequent subgraph mining, is basically like we know a lot of path traversal algorithms, right, in graph. So it's one of those things where we find out the most frequently traversed subgraph out of a whole entire graph using MapReduce techniques. Like for example, the areas application for this paper would be the social network graphs. Who is connected to whom, how many connections they have. So in that case, we can see like this particular graph or this particular set of people are very closely related to each other because they have a lot of mutual connections and all those things.
Yeah, that's very much interesting and amazing as well to see that like with just academics, you were doing a lot of other things as well. Okay, so I'm going to come to the internship part right now. But to let you know, like all the parts which you have discussed, like your computer science experience, the language one, and all the things up till now, it was very much inspiring, and it like gave me a lot of insights, and also the audience would get a lot of insights out of this conversation which we are having right now. So, like without wasting further time, I'll just go on to the internship experience. So I want to ask you, like, describe your experience working as a software engineering intern for Lemonop.
Yeah, sure. So that was like one of the first internships that I ever attended. So the selection process and everything, it was a very competitive selection process in my college, and finally somehow I got it. So after that, I got the opportunity to go to Bangalore for a period of 1.5 months, I guess. So it was my first full stack development experience on, it was basically on a JS framework, and the backend was on Spring Boot, Java. So basically it was a platform development kind of experience, and we had to develop an admin portal for a platform that already existed, like admin rights for a particular set of users, and they can do anything possible in that platform, adding, removing users and all those things. Yeah.
So that was the whole internship experience you had. Okay, so and that was your first experience. And when did you do that internship? In which year?
I think it was in 2017.
Okay, 2017.
2017 November to December.
2017 November to December. Great.
Yeah.
So that was one experience. So the next experience I want to ask you about is, can you describe your experience working as a summer intern for Zoho Corporation?
Yeah, so I think that was my first experience as a part of a huge enterprise. So working as a part of an enterprise is like drastically different from a startup, I would say, because the kind of roles and responsibilities, the kind of freedom that we have is also kind of restricted, because even one small mistake can potentially impact everything and everyone's work. So those restrictions are actually required in an enterprise, I would say. So in that case, we can also learn a lot. There will be a lot of knowledgeable people around us, and we can learn a lot. So I was a part of same full stack development in Java. It was mostly JSP, server side rendering. It did not have much of any client side things, I would say. So yeah, it was also a very good learning experience for me.
That's great. So you had two amazing learning experiences, like in just your college, okay, and you got placed into PayPal. Like I'll be coming to that part, okay. So that part is still yet to come. So the next part I want to ask you is like currently you are pursuing a master's in CS from Georgia Tech. So I want to ask you like why did you choose USA over India for your master's in CS, and is it worth?
Yeah, so I actually explored a lot of other MTech remote learning options that some universities provide in India. I don't want to take any particular name, but the thing I noticed is, and the reviews that I got from those courses are something like it's a lot of theoretical emphasis is there in the degree. So what I'm looking for right now is I'm already a software engineer, already employed at a particular firm, and I'm already implementing a few things. So I don't want to go back into theoretical aspects and then read some books and just write for the sake of marks. I want to implement something and then probably gain the knowledge and then use it for upskilling myself in my company as well. So in that case, the degree I'm looking for should also have some kind of implementation with it. So in that case, the OMSCS option from Georgia Tech looked a really great option for me, because a lot of emphasis is given to the kind of mini projects that we implement and the assignments that we complete as a part of the degree. So USA, India, I wouldn't say there is a lot of difference between USA and India, because anyways it's going to be remote learning, right? So if they had given a visa to go to US, then I would say that would be a plus in US. But this is anyway remote learning. So that was the reason behind why I chose Georgia Tech.
That's great. So yeah, and all the best for your journey,
Thank
which
you.
will be starting for the masters. So yeah, so I definitely agree with you. Theoretically, and the degrees which are taught in US, there are a lot of practical implementation as well.
Right.
And I've seen this not only in US, the degrees in Canada, UK. So these degrees are they are not based on building your theoretical knowledge, but actually the professors give you projects and you have to work on real projects, and on that projects basis you get your marks, okay. So kind of you get a lot of exposure, you get to work on a lot of new technologies as well. It depends on the major which you have chosen here,
right,
okay, in a master's in CS, and it's very much useful. It's what I feel, and thanks for that answer. It would give a much clarity into why people choose US or why people choose abroad on the whole in place of India, okay. And thanks for sharing that. So the next question I want to ask you is right now, in your bio you have given you are working as a machine learning engineer for PayPal, okay. So why do you love machine learning, and describe your first encounter with machine learning?
Yeah, sure. So my first encounter with machine learning was basically, I was also interested like many others, like machine learning and AI is going to be the future, is what they said when I was in college in 2016 or 17. So I was interested, like, what is that subject? It came at the end semesters in my curriculum, but I couldn't wait till then. So I just wanted to explore on my own as well. So I got this opportunity from Coursera, Andrew NG's course. I think that is like a very popular basic introductory course. So the main difference is traditionally we just input rules, some kind of rules into input and the rules, and we get the output. We tell the computer what to do with the input in terms of rules, and then we get the output. But in machine learning, we tell the computer, give the computer input and the output, and we ask it to figure out it by yourself. You just figure out the rules by yourself, and then you just give me the rules so that I can extend it to other possible domains as well. So that is one cool thing I like about machine learning that is not available in any other aspect of computer science.
Yeah, that decision making approach, which comes in, okay. That's great. So, and like, when did you have that first encounter? Like in college, when like in the last year, maybe?
In college, I think the papers that I was involved with my dean were the first exposure to machine learning, I would say. And after that, I
Great.
also did those mini projects and all the curriculum aspects as well. Yeah.
Great, great. So, like here we end with all the internships and everything about yourself, all the description part. So right now we are into the main interview, and I'm very much excited to talk to you about your PayPal experiences, and so is the audience who is watching you right now. So I want to ask you, like, did you ever thought of getting into PayPal?
Yeah, definitely. Because see, in my college, there were only like few of the super dream companies that we would say based on CTC. So PayPal and Amazon was one of them, two of them. So I was always interested in cracking PayPal, especially because of the in India they don't have much of an impact, I would say, right now, but they are growing as a huge company in the last few years. So I was interested in that, and I thought maybe the kind of contributions that I could do there would be greater than what I could achieve in any other company, because it's like an upbringing company, and it's a growing company basically, at least in India, I would say. So and obviously the CTC and other employee friendly culture of PayPal were also other major factors. But yeah, this was the main factor, and I was definitely interested in cracking PayPal.
Yeah, so you did a complete analysis before actually like choosing your dream company, okay? And that is PayPal in your case. And yeah, and you were preparing for it, okay? So then like we'll get to know in the next few questions, okay? So I want to ask you, like, how did you get this internship opportunity with PayPal?
Yeah, so PayPal had been visiting our college for on-campus recruitment for last few years, even before I came actually. So it was always there. So we were just like, we just have to focus on upskilling ourselves, and the company will definitely come. If we have the right kind of skill sets, then they will definitely prefer to take us. This is what the kind of thing that all the students had, I would say.
Yeah. So it was kind of an on-campus opportunity for you,
yes.
according to you. Great. So, like, now that you told me about the opportunity, so I want to ask you, like, can you describe like your interview experience in detail? Because like just brief us to the rounds and everything. Like, what were the rounds and how was your experience interviewing?
Sure. Yeah. So there were a total of 4 rounds, I would say. All the 4 were kind of technical. Only one was like technical come HR. Like questions like where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what is your main motivation behind choosing this major, all those things. So that was, and technical questions were also there in that round. So it was the 3rd round. Technical come HR round was the 3rd round. So the first 2 rounds were completely technical. The first round was kind of like, there was one question. It's like basic, I wouldn't say it's a coding question, but a technical question. Like there were questions like, let's say you have a CSV file and it's a comma separated file, obviously. And let's say one of the fields in that is address, and address has comma separated values. So how will you differentiate that, is what they said. So I said probably I gave a lot of solutions actually. So one of them were like reject space solution we can probably go. So it's not like entirely a coding question, but just how we approach a problem kind of thing. So other than that, we had like technical discussions on what is cryptocurrency. When will PayPal probably adapt to cryptocurrency, or all those things. That was my question to them. And all those things. Yeah, we had a great discussion on those things. And the second round was completely coding, I would say. I was given one dynamic program problem and one recursive problem, and some questions about Java as a programming language. So that was my second round. And third round, as I said, it was technical come HR. So fourth round was deep dive into my projects. So what were my projects? What was the motivation behind pursuing those projects? What were my learnings out of it, and all those? Yeah.
Yeah, and like in the end, you got selected for an internship, 6 months internship with them.
Yeah.
That's great. So yeah, so the next question is about the internship itself. So I want to ask you, like, how was your internship experience? Like, you were working with PayPal as a full stack development intern. Okay. So like, how was your experience?
As an intern, I would say I was expecting a lot, and I was very focused on converting it into a PPO. I was very nervous, and I was constantly asking for advice from all the seniors and all those things. So I would say the internship experience was very complete, in to say the least. Like, it had all kinds of ups and downs. Like, there were a few days where I was focused on solving very hard to solve problems, and there were a few days where I was just documenting whatever I did. That is also very important, actually. So it was like a good experience overall, I would say. I was probably mainly focused on JavaScript, and I was also involved in the Scrum teams, I would say, and my responsibilities were almost the same as a full-time engineer there. So the accountability and everything was the same, entirely the same. So in that way, PayPal is a great company to intern with. We can learn a lot from there because it's almost the same as a full-time engineer.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that point, Aswin. And yeah, so you had an amazing experience. You got to learn a lot of new things. You got to meet a lot of new people, work in a team, and like feel connected with the organization, feel connected with PayPal on the whole. Okay, and it was an amazing experience for you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. So right now, like you told me about the internship experience. So now I want to ask you, like, what were your roles and responsibilities as a full stack development intern for PayPal? And also, like, if it was an offline internship, like, where were you located and stuff like that?
Yeah, so basically my location was Chennai. So my hometown is also Chennai. So it was very comfortable for me. So I think the office hours and all was very flexible. There was no one asking and all. As a company itself, it's very employee friendly. The roles and responsibilities, as I said, it's very much similar to a full-time engineer there. So the first few weeks, probably we took to upskill ourselves to the kind of technologies that is required there, reading the documentations that we have and all those things. But after that, around a month or 1.5 months, I was like straight away into contributing into the development of features. So that's it. I think the total internship was around 5.5 months to 6 months, I guess. So yeah, it was a great experience, and the roles and responsibilities, as I said, are very similar to a full-time developer there.
Great. Okay, thanks for sharing that. Okay, so this is going to be the last question related to internship experience. So I want to ask you, like, if you were given to describe your whole internship experience in one word, what would it be?
I would say it's totally worth it, but it's 3 words. So what I can say is probably worthy. It's a complete experience. Yeah. Great.
So right now you talked about like how like the culture is at PayPal. Okay. So I want to ask you how is the work culture at PayPal, and I want to know it from your perspective. How was your experience? Any incidents you had with PayPal? Like anything you can share it.
Yeah, so probably what I would say is employee friendly culture is always there in PayPal. It's like one of the top 25 places to work voted by the people in India. So other than that, the kind of flexibility that they provide, the kind of ownership that we get to own our features, like I have never seen this kind of seniority thing there in PayPal. Like even a junior or a fresher who joined yesterday gives a valid point, everyone is willing to consider it and change the plans accordingly. So that is one thing I really like about this company. So everyone is given equal opportunities, and once we prove ourselves, we keep getting more and more opportunities to keep on proving ourselves, is what I would say. So those are few things that I like about this company.
That's great, and you are definitely loving it right now. That's the reason why you're still with PayPal. Okay,
Yep.
That's great. Yeah. So the next question I want to ask you is like what skills are required to convert your internship opportunity to a PPO at PayPal?
Yeah, great question actually. So I asked the same question to a lot of my seniors. So the main skill I would say is communication. even more than all the technical skills and everything, the main skill that you want is communication, because what we might do everything, but we need to express it the right way. So that is the one of the most important things, I would say, because at the end of the day, all our management is going to take a decision whether we should continue here or not. So for that, we should have given them enough information about our work to take an informed decision from their side. So giving information is all our responsibility, but whatever they do with that information is their responsibility. So I would say, obviously skills and technical skills are one very important part, and that's why if they had shown those things, and that's why they would have got the opportunity in the first place. So I think the technical part is covered once you create the interview. After going inside, I would say gelling well with the team, putting your points forward in the correct places, and then communicating whatever you are doing daily with your manager or your team leader or anything. So those things are very important, I would say, because at the end of the day, the decision that they take shouldn't come as a surprise for us. So I was expecting to convert, but I did not get converted. That should not be a surprise. So we should always be in loop with the people above us, I would say.
Yeah, so you should always be in touch with the people whom you work
Exactly.
with, and communicate with them. Okay, be very clear, be very specific on whatever you want to express. With
Yes.
Like, for example, you are talking to an employee about a problem. Okay, you must be very much clear, and like, you should have that skill to get it resolved within a day. Like, even if it's not within a day, you can do it in a day or two, but like, you should be dedicated towards and also the technical skills come in hand after the interview, and with that, the communication skills. So these combined skills like make an impact, and you can get PPO from PayPal as well.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks for that. Thanks for sharing that. So so the next question I want to ask you is, do you want to give some tips or advice for future aspirants who are looking to crack your role at PayPal?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing I would like to say is, like, don't get too focused on one company or one position as such. Just focus on upskilling ourselves. So sometimes what happens, right, interview is always like there are some kind of a luck factor associated with it. It's not like entirely hard work or entirely talent throughout, right? Always there is some kind of luck factor involved in whatever company that we attend. So in that case, we should not get disappointed, and we should think that we are not worthy and all those things. We should not do like that. So we should focus on upskilling ourselves and have the confidence in us. And even if our dream company misses out, there is always other companies with similar cadre and similar CTC and similar culture that we can always aim for and get ourselves aligned. So I would say, first focus on ourselves, and then upskilling ourselves in all terms of like projects, both I would say breadth-wise and depth-wise. So breadth-wise, we can focus on a lot of areas like full stack, machine learning, and probably other aspects of CS as well. So depth is also important, I would say. Breadth to some degree is fine, but more than a point, breadth does not matter much. But depth, at least in one subject, is very important, because that is going to be our ultimate role, or the way we contribute to a particular company is going to be that depth subject. So that is also very important. Other than that, I think confidence is the key, and again, luck is one major factor.
Consistency is the key as well. Confidence, consistency, dedication.
Yeah,
that's great. So like, I completely agree with you. I absolutely think like whatever things you shared, like, thanks for sharing that advice. It would definitely help out the audience. So the next question I want to ask you is, what is the future scope of ML engineers in the job market according to you?
Yeah, so I think this ML engineer, data scientist, software engineer, machine learning, so all those are like kind of similar roles, but with subtle differences in every company. So those roles are actually kind of interchangeable, but the skill sets might vary a little bit. So I think all these roles might become one in the future. So this title of software engineer itself, they might be expected to know a bit of everything. So right now, software engineers also do most of the DevOps work, I would say. So previously there were like dedicated DevOps engineers, and even now there are a lot of DevOps engineers dedicatedly. But many organizations have kind of combined them into one role, software engineer. You are expected to do the development and the deployment both. So in a similar fashion, in the future, I think machine learning will kind of merge into mainstream software development as well. So software engineers themselves will be expected to know a bit of everything, and then adapt to whatever is required at that particular point of time.
Yeah. So there would be a plenty of scope for ML engineers in future. It's what I feel, what I get from your answer. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
ML engineers as such dedicated position, it may be available in a few companies, but even the position of software engineer itself, I think it will get merged with the position of ML engineer. Both will be one and the same, I think.
Okay, that's great. So thanks for giving that clarity on that. Okay, so yeah. So what educational preparation do you recommend for someone who wants to become an ML engineer in future?
I think a lot of online courses and frequent involvement in sites like Kaggle. There is no one technique that works for all in machine learning, I would say. It's like heavily reliant on what kind of data we are handling, what kind of data set that we are using, and all those things. So it's just the kind of learnings. For these kind of data set, probably we can choose this way. For this kind of data set, probably we can choose this technique. Is what are the few things that we get out of experience in machine learning. So we can focus on gathering those experience, is what I would say.
Yeah, so like, do you have any platform in your mind where the students can go and learn, like which you recommend them to do it?
Yeah, I think there is a site by Andrew NG himself. It's I think it's called deeplearning.ai. Deeplearning.ai is
okay.
Yeah, that is one website where there are a lot of dedicated ML courses, and other than that, we always have Kaggle. So just to learn the basics alone, courses would be fine. But after that, I think Kaggle competitions is going to help a lot.
That's great. And thanks for sharing that insightful information. Okay, just one or two questions and then we wrap up with this interview. So I want to ask you, like, who were your biggest supporters in your career journey up till now?
I would like to thank my parents, friends, and all the teachers who helped me throughout the journey of my school and college. And after coming to office, there are a lot of colleagues. I learned a lot from them, and I am continuing to learn. So looking forward to learn a lot and keep learning.
That's great. And yeah, so up till now, you shared an incredible journey on this platform with us in this episode. Okay, and it would help out a lot of other students who are looking to get placed in PayPal and other things as well. From your experiences, a lot of students would learn. Okay, they would get a direction towards life. They would get a direction towards what they want to do in life. Okay, and thanks for that. So the next question, like, this is going to be the last question I want to ask you. Do you want to give some words of motivation to our audience?
Yeah, sure. So as I said previously also, right, so don't get yourself focused into one particular thing, one particular company, I would say. Obviously focus on one particular thing is important, but one particular company might not be required. So just focus, choose your own stream, go through a lot of things other than your curriculum, upskill yourself, and then have the confidence that you can clear the interviews, and that is the main key, I would say. So other than that, live in the present. Don't plan too much in far ahead in the future, and that will always lead to some kind of disappointment, because everything we plan might not happen, right? So live in the present, also enjoy the things that are around you right now, and also plan ahead for the future a little bit.
That's great, and that's a very good way to end the interview. Okay, and thank you so much, Aswin, for your time, for your knowledge, and for sharing your experiences, choosing us to share your experience on this platform. And I want to wish you best of luck for all your future endeavors, for your journey at PayPal and all the other companies you will be working with in future. I want to wish you best of luck. You will definitely do good, because you have good basics, good knowledge about what you want to do, and a vision you have. Okay, and the hardworking mindset. Okay, which a lot of people lack, what I say. But in your case, you are willing to give your 100% to the organization and your vision. You were planning to work for PayPal from the start, so you prepared from the start, and right now you are living your dream. You are working with PayPal. You are you are using your skills, okay, to help the organization, and that's a very good thing and
Thank
very
you.
inspiring. Yeah, very inspiring journey, I must say, and thanks for doing it.
Thank you for your kind words.
Yeah, and yeah, so with this I would like to end the video, okay, and if you guys are watching the video up till now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to this channel, also reach out to Aswin. I'll mention the links to his social handles in the description box below, so do check it out, do reach out to him if you have any questions related to getting placed in PayPal, and if you need any coding assistance, he's there to help you, so do reach out to him. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of interview series with another person from the industry who is there to inspire you. Until then, keep learning, keep inspiring, keep growing. Thank you.
Thank you.